Hello, everyone. Today we are building on everything we covered in the past 4 weeks. Like you can think it's like a credential. Obviously, all of them interrelated with each other. Today's subject terms are performance, job design, and flexibility. The idea is what we have learned that HRM matters to every organization, and today example will show you exactly why. We have explored some how everyone has psychological contract as in our second line. I think I need to put the slide presentation that way. Psychological contract. Today we will see how companies like Adobe discovered this the hard way when when their performance management system is violated or didn't work well due to the unspoken expectations. So we have also discussed motivation theories, and today we will see how companies like 3M turned motivation theory into innovation. With the 15% time policy they apply. And on the other hand, the employee engagement we have seen on week 3, I think. And we will talk about like Microsoft transform their entire culture by changing their approach for performance management. And obviously this is our main core topic today. So I just want to indicate again, employee engagement is different from motivation, but possibly even more important. There are some other clear frameworks. If you need to use in your assignment, please refer them. And yeah, that's this slide. When we manage people effectively, yeah, I presume we are managing people effectively because this is the main aim. At least, if you didn't manage them effectively today, maybe you can improve, you can reflect your practice, and you can improve that one more effective way in the next round. Obviously, human life is not a round way, but in a way, we learn from our errors. So that's why we come to point. And we create two types of valuable resources, and we need to manage them really effectively. One of them, human capital, other one is social capital. This slide is keep coming, individual level, and the other one is collective level. And it is really important. Maybe let me give you some example in action. At Spotify, they created what they call a squad model. Each squad is a small autonomous team, and they operate like mini startups. And their approach in Spotify squad model simultaneously builds individual human capital. And because team members deliver diverse skills across different functions, so it's kind of like learned skill at organization wasn't emerge as a uniform way, simultaneously occurred, and different functions people learn. And obviously, as people work in the squad as well as in their functional original place, that generate a social capital. So I think that was a good synergy they created. So that one is human capital increase their knowledge and skills and experiences. And in the meantime, social capital is increased because squad model is a kind of autonomous teams from diverse background people. in the organization. So if you have any question, please I'll raise your question later on, or you can put in the chat thread. Maybe I can explain, or maybe I may be taken wrong. Maybe I can correct myself. Why not? And targeting the employees. This is the another one, AMO, as we call AMO theory. And we always say, for example, Toyota has a masterfully apply AMO theory in production system. Provide extensive training programs they supply and cross training. So as you can see, organizations are not applying training in a silos. They are creating like cross training, cross team trainings. So workers can handle multiple tasks in that sense. Toyota did the same. For motivation, they created a Kaizen culture. Like this is Japanese model where continuous improvement isn't just encouraged, it is expected to, or employee suggestions are valued. So these are motivational tools. Obviously, as you can remember, motivation is not like money always or bonus. Okay, so recognition or respecting people, employee suggestion is one of the motivational tool. And for opportunity, they empowered workers to actually stop the production line, just we seen last week, unquote wire they pull if they see any problem. So at the end, Toyota has achieved the industry leading quality efficiency for decades, and they take over from really big one of the big organization from Ford. This title, obviously, Ford take over. They resist as well, but this is the natural trend. What we teach in our school. Management schools and industrial relations school. So Toyota value the people's saying. Ford, on the other hand, they value the system, and they presume their system engineer knows everything, every part of the job better than anyone else. So this is the difference. Okay, instead checking or asking feedback from line producers or production worker in the production line, they simply rely on system thinker or an engineer, but Toyota value other way around. Okay, so this is organizational capital because organizational capital at a collective level subject social capital. We need to build positive climate. So if we want to create a social capital, these are the must: positive climate, promote capabilities, design how workforces are organized. This fosters social capital. Next slide is job design. This is the this week startup. Job design is how tasks and responsibilities are structured, and kind of I can say combination of it is task design is combined task and responsibilities of a job. How it relates to other coexisting jobs is another point. As you can see from this side, job design has shifted from a de-skilled single task job towards more multi-skilled, flexible, self-managing forms of work. So de-skilled means because you design everything at work and you know what the employee is going to do, what the workforce is going to do in the production line. It means you disregard their skilling, and you expect them to follow what you impose them. So this is the skill. You don't need a skill, and you are giving single task. You are delegating, and you are giving the job. People don't demand, or they don't say anything. There is no voice of the employees in the sense. So, but that one is shift to more flexible, multi-skilled, and self-managing forms of work. I hope this slide is a little bit giving you a kind of about job design. Maybe we can mention about flexibility or job design, like rota. When you are establishing rota for your employee, for yourself, or for your organization, you may need to put people working on weekends as well, because work is going that way, and businesses would like to, or they aim to serve customers even at the weekend. In that sense, you need employee taking care of that tasks and jobs at weekends as well. So you may need to demand people working Saturday or Sunday late. So that in that sense, flexibility, you are businesses required to be adaptable for responding the customer societal change or technological demand, or demand from the customers. On the other hand, they are expecting their employees be more flexible. So in that sense, you may need to ask people working on weekends as well. So in that way, the job design is not one single uniform way we are approaching. So job design is about your, or organization or business's context or object according to their objectives. So therefore, doesn't mean one is always better than other. Maybe combinational or them, or maybe it's up to the organizational target. We know that this is the exact the one of the exact topic you can select job design for your dissertation, and you can find many academic journals and articles being published right now about job design. Especially the post-pandemic, and researchers scrambled to understand the more implications, because working from home brought another thing, and also the now AI involvement is generating and changing the landscape of the employee and work design, and it is becoming really important. Job design still evolving, I think. According to the change in the market and in the society, or in the technology, or in the economy. In that sense, you can select this is part of your research. Obviously, this screenshot is coming from our BASPA library. Maybe we can practice in our seminar hour this one. And the core dimension for the job design is this is matrix show us the core dimension of job design, and we have autonomy on one axis. This is autonomy in the y-axis. X-axis is making. This is task access. So in that sense, like how many different tasks they perform. One of the example, like maybe I can show here, I can tell here, but before going that one, high autonomy, if you are expecting high autonomy and you are expecting your people can deliver many tasks, okay? So if you give them less autonomy, you expect them to commit less, because you don't give them more autonomy. And why they're going to say, why I'm going to commit more because I don't have autonomy. And if you are a manager, you can end up like this question. I mean, like this code. You are my manager. You are my manager. You are getting more money. Why I'm gonna do more job? So this is really like, yeah, you may need this kind of approach in your organization according to your organizational purpose or context. But if you want some innovative and creative environment, it is not helpful. Okay. So Spotify and other organizations are managed to succeed this one, as earlier I said. And yeah, one of the another example, like I can show. I think I brought if it doesn't work. Yeah, it works. Yeah, this is Volvo production line. It's 1970s. What they did, they designed the job from traditional assembly lines of autonomous work teams. Instead, each worker is doing one repetitive task. Team workers would complete entire section. So this is kind of, they change the perspective of looking the things, okay, looking the production line. So if it works, just carry on with that one. So how you are going to do, you need to do some HRM analytics, whether which one is effective or not. So this is giving autonomy for Volvo's. This is Kalmar assembly line. Volvo's these autonomous work teams, they had autonomy and they decided their workplace and methods. And in that sense, they have high task variety. They learn multi-skills because they learn from each other. The result is very remarkable. And at the end, they measure absenteeism is reduced, turnover rate is reduced, and higher job satisfaction is happen. This is one of the classic example since I graduated from my university, but still relevant, simple. You need to change the look in the job different and think out of the box and design that way. If it works, yeah, you manage to change the landscape. If you don't, if it doesn't work, you can always just chance back to previous method. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So areas of so what you can change. So this is the one of the Hagman Altman 1976 and Torrington et al. 2017. This is our textbook, Torrington, and give us 5 core job characteristics. So they investigate a million different jobs and they find the typical or core job characteristics with those skill variety. Is employees can explore different areas, develop diverse skills. This is kind of, you try to gain more skills, and or maybe you try to hold that skills in your pocket. Maybe you can use it later on. I don't know what you are going to do, but this is skill variety in the team or in the employee. It doesn't matter. So task identity, another one. Does what you are doing feel like the whole piece of work? They can see project from the conception of completion. So what you need to do to complete the task. So this is the task identity. And task significance. This project is relevant for the organizational purpose. And this project can become real innovative for our organization. And it can impact a company's outcome, and it can contribute to customers. So this is task significance. Like, imagine you are working, one of the production line. Maybe I can give you from my example. I had a HR like 10 10 months training on HR when I was doing HR team leading as well as quality management. I was doing 2 tasks at the time, and I completed 10 months training on HR because I was coming from engineering background, so I find it's a bit difficult to see this soft things. Then anyway, so when I finish the task, that HR training, I find myself describing my job and task significance is because we used to produce a perfume, and I was saying, we are producing perfume to make people more comfortable in public. If they're more comfortable, so this is it was my imagination, and I was creating my task is significantly creating an impact on society, in individuals. So this is what you can see in the task significance. So if your organization emphasizes innovation or creativity, it could be different. My organization at the time, it was perfume, and it was a different mentality, a little bit different than innovation. So therefore, I generated that one. So I employed that one in the organization. On the other hand, I used to work as a quality assurance team leading, and as well as human resource team leading. Anyway, it was really old story. And yeah, task significance is that one. Okay, I hope it is clear. You can ask a question, or you can write down your perspective about task significance. What is your task? Okay, so autonomy is, I think we just mentioned for that one. Employees choose their own project and approaches. So this is you are giving them flexibility. I think I'm doing with one of my supervisee about job design project. It is really relevant, and part of autonomy is there as well. Then feedback. Feedback is kind of voice opportunities for feedback. Regular innovation, for example, showcases provide clear feedback on employees' work, and even like this is the kind of policy has to breakthrough innovation. Post-it notes. 3M is one of the examples. It's a perfect example, I think, how thoughtful job design can drive both employee satisfaction and business result. So in that sense, employee in 3M and Spotify, they gain multiple skills. And in 3M, they generated post-it notes. So this is not well-known topic, but 3M is, I think, not a surface organization. It is people know 3M, but if they know the industry well, normal, the public doesn't know about 3M much. Anyway, so this is another subject, but job design, I think, is created skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, and these are the change you can make arrangement, and it's going to create job design. Okay. Job design has focused on issues regarding efficiency and social integration, and how both tie into high performance. Like, the puzzle, and you are putting the puzzle and you try to create a more effective, and more productive, more performed organizational teams, or profit, or more customers. So this is the way. Okay. For example, in Amazon warehouse, there is one dilemma paradox here. This is the second line of this slide. There's a paradox between design jobs. Efficiency means high performance, and social integration. In terms of efficiency, here is high performance because it should be related. Okay, therefore I equalize that one, but it's not necessarily equal all the time. Efficiency and social integration is could create a paradox, because if you want autonomy, if you want people define their job themselves, like freely, and you are giving them opportunity, it means they are going to create a social integration. But on the other hand, you are going to trade off from the efficiency. So there are two organizations, Amazon and Gore-Tex. These organizations really two effective and really clearly extreme organization. Amazon saying, they're looking after high efficient, repetitive, and monitored work, especially in their warehouse, in their delivery teams. Okay, so this is their way. For example, workers mainly report feeling they are isolated because they don't need to social interact. They need to do their own work. They don't need mental engagement, and at the end, it is kind of creating burnout. Okay, it can create burnout. Burnout is another layer. Okay, but you can stop. Here is workers more efficient and repetitive and monitored work, creating more isolation for sure. Okay, so it is really important to think before saying it is burnout or they attempt to quit, because these are related with other factors as well. Okay, but I can say highly likely if you are feeling is isolated, you can end up like burnout. Yeah, this is common sense, but in some circumstances we see it is not general. Especially if you are in a heavy burden in mortgage payment, if you are if you don't have any option, or if you are obliged to do that job, you may find yourself some enjoyment inside that job, and its burnout is going to be less likely. So these are the circumstances according to. So in general, we can say more likely people isolated, they are going to more likely be burnout. Okay, so efficiency is maximized, but in that sense, social integration suffers in Amazon workers. Okay, Gore-Tex example. Gore-Tex is, I think I don't need to mention that one. When you're running outdoor running, you sweat. When it is rain, you are gonna be wet. Okay, so Gore-Tex designed a dress or sportwear. Sweat is going out, rain doesn't come in. So they innovate, and they made maybe 15 years. They hold the license or patent right for this product and exploit this innovation. So literally, if you sweat, it is going out from your dress automatically, or from your shoes. Okay. Then if it is rain never comes in. Okay, rain proof, but sweat is out. Okay, so this is their product. So what they did, they used, because their CEO was innovative and creative person, is coming from that background. I think it is a bit a shame. What was the Gore-Tex? Brad Cinder. It's a bit a shame. American multinational manufacturing company specialized in product derived from fluoropolymeres. It is a chemical name, I don't know, maybe different name. It's privately held. Yeah, Newark. I always thought this is a British organization, but it's American. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, anyway, so they use a team-based self-managed structure in their organization, and they design their job in that way. Then they created a variety of skills by creating this team-based work. Okay, simultaneously skills are extended. Okay, by employees or by team members, and high employee interactions were there, and strong culture and cross-functionality. It means maybe you are not aware about cross-functionality. Cross-functionality is, imagine one organization is using one department like uh, one organization is using like one accounting or finance department, or another department is a production line, another one is another department. So like cross-functional means actually you are learning from and you are taking care, or you are thinking others benefit as well. So if there is no cross-functional team in your organization, it means functions are looking after their own targets. They don't respect other departments' effectiveness. But if you create a cross-functional team, that team is kind of like they are taking care of for everyone, for all of good, involving or relating multiple departments or expertises together, or functions within organization working together towards a common goal. Okay, towards a common goal. Yeah. So this is like the cross-functional is bringing us that kind of example. Okay. So the cross-functional teams are really good at enhancing innovation, problem solving, uh, finding effective way to deliver a product or services or whatever. Okay, you aim to. Um, so therefore, the cross-functional teams are that. Okay. So Gore-Tex managed that one. So in that sense, Amazon is efficiency, but social integration suffered. In the Gore-Tex is they made a team-based work, and trades were more effective, more innovative. Probably more job satisfaction exists, because I didn't read satisfaction increase or not from any textbook. Therefore, I don't want to give you some, but we know of the innovative, therefore I'm happy. I'm assured to say that one. Okay. In that sense, job paradox is now we come to point, fundamental paradox in a job design. The more focus on efficiency, it means you are imposing single task, no independence, pure production. The more you increase social disintegration in your organization. Why do you think this happened? Because your organization may not need innovation. Maybe you want only delivering as quick and as cheap as possible. Maybe your job market, or sorry, your employee market may be not sufficient to understand or skilled. Okay, so in that sense, so you don't need that much skill. Okay, perhaps become too narrow and controlled. People lose their sense of purpose and connection in this way, and they become isolated, disengaged, and ultimately less productive. And despite the system being designed for efficiency, they are not going to. Maybe they are effective because system imposing them, but they are not effective coming from their heart. Okay. Second part of the paradox is here. The flip side of the paradox: the more you focus social integration and multi-skilling, self-management, maybe autonomy. Self-management is about, I don't need to mention that one. Self-autonomy is you are giving opportunity for feedback as well. So they are designing task, their own job, on their work. Okay, how they put that one. This is So the more you create opportunities, it means you are going to trade off with efficiency, and it's going to create inefficiency. So this is a challenge for every organization. How do you balance these competing demands? Is impossible to answer because there is no perfect answer for this one. Best organizations we know, they find a way between those, okay, between these, often through careful design systems, strong cultural foundation, they integrate it. But one is good, other one is bad. No one can say this, okay? So job design is that one. Now we come to flexible work. I hope the first section is okay for you. Flexible work is the flip side of the, flexible work means adapting where, when, and how people work. When, where, and how. Because world is change, and people need to work at the weekend. People need to work not only between 9 to 5 anymore. And maybe you need your employee going somewhere else. Maybe you need 0-hour contract employees, because we know gig economy platforms like Uber, because they are not able to check in employees started work and finished job. I mean, so they don't need actually, because gig economy is different. So these are like functional. Maybe you need employee working in accounting. You may need him to work in supply chain section the next month because you are short. You need some flexibility, like functional. Maybe I should say task-based. Maybe numerical way, like gig economies. And let's assume that we have the right job design. However, we also need people to be working when, where, and we need them. Okay, this is the section. And how flexible can workplace be is a question. And you might have heard flexible working arrangements, FWAs, but they are really an output of workplace flexibility. And sometimes some organizations are putting visible policies and practices for this one, okay, flexibility. Maybe some of them is putting some kind of job description section, because everyone has got job description in their, if you have a chance to work in a corporate level job, not like quick, you might have a job description. This is your job, this is your task. So they add some kind of line there. If the organization need it, they can assign you to different tasks. If the organization need it, they can ask you to relocate your city. They can. So these are the policies they can add. And how they practice, and policies exist there, but sometimes psychological contract, so involvement, cultural aspect, that things can be override, okay? And obviously this is not only that way, because the employees can have some developmental program, like leadership development program. They may need to get extra skills, or they may need to get experience international, and they need to accept because they are in the development program. And or maybe, yeah, this is the need, this is up to the need. But flexibility is in general, and in general a place where, how, and when you are going to work. And workforce flexibility is about how flexible organizations are similar, And organizations need to be able to reconfigure how many people they hire and when they are hiring them, because customer demands is fluctuated, and our today's customers are not regularly going and buying, and one organization may need 100 people today, but they may not need that one. So next day, because there is no demand and they don't want to pay, because it's impossible to compensate that cost. So therefore, workforce flexibility is needed for big organizations, and this is really fundamental. And this is creating organizational adaptability. Unfortunately, I wish everyone has got a regular wages. Gig economies seems really because they are started. Our regulation system in governmental side, regulations coming late than innovation is happen. So gig economy comes and they started and regulations followed that one, but in the meantime they missed the regulated sections. Remember, sick payment for Uber drivers or delivery drivers. So there were like lawsuit cases, and they won at the end. That's right, gig economics. Between that regulation is placed and innovation has started, there is some timeline. People lost their right, probably. Okay, so how many people organizations are hiring is really important. And when they're hiring them, they need to deploy. They start to exploit their human worth, and this is flexibility. They need require from employees. What type of flexibilities are there in that sense? As earlier mentioned, functional flexibility, cross training, cross functional teams or employees are learning from each other. Maybe you can say job sharing. Your maybe friend in your colleague went on holiday. Maybe you need to take care of his place 2 weeks. So yeah, this is part of flexibility, or maybe extreme way you can think. And numerical flexibility, like gig economies, and one is temporal. So you may need to change your work pattern or hours, work days. Okay, this is the part. And geographical flexibility is another one. So these are the parts of flexibility. Okay, so this I didn't brought that one earlier. Sorry for that one. Okay, work-life balance. So work-life balance is like credential phenomena after flexibility occur. However, we know it was in the literature and we were about work-life balance, but after gig economies, after internationalization, after globalization, we start to understand work-life balance is happening more effective after pandemic, from working home as well. And I made a speech about this one in one of the conference. You always go and check that one as well. And how we prioritize the dichotomy between our work and our leisure can have serious consequences. Flexibility is not just about organizational needs from one perspective. Okay, it's about work-life balance. Poor work-life balance can lead job stress. This is evident. Okay, it is creating burnout. Inability to, for example, meet the targets. Meeting the targets are if you impose. So this is creating some kind of coming from poor work-life balance, because people are burn out more and they are not going to make effective work. Okay, maybe serious physical and mental health issues. So workplace flexibility doesn't always mean better work-life balance. Some studies suggest that flexibility may actually increase stress or lead to longer working hours. When not well managed. Therefore, it's really important setting flexibility in policies, in psychological expectations, and listening employee needs is important, because it is employees are not living in a uniform lifestyle anymore. Okay, one employee has with kids, other one with have elderly people, other one has got different circumstances. You need to listen them their need, and otherwise we won't get a good effective work outcome. One of the law from France, right to disconnect law. I think we have in UK as well that one. That law is giving workers legal ground to ignore emails after work hours. Yeah. For example, I can't ignore emails. I always check. Even I open my Microsoft Teams as a Snapchat. You can chat with me spontaneously. I can see, and my wife is not happy with that one. But no, I want to, because you have a really limited time. If I ignore your request today, it's going to cost you maybe 1 day, but your project is going to be delayed maybe 1 week. Then I feel so bad if you are not successfully finish your job or your assignment. I really feel a pressure. I want my students' success. I want my students to finish their work properly. Therefore, I always give read and email. However, legally, I have right to keep my time, and within 3 days, I can reply you. But mainly, I reply maybe next day or next hour. So in France, there is a regulation. As I mentioned, these regulations are coming a bit late. From my Turkish background, I know we have in Turkey similar and UK background, similar law things happening. And more than a third employee, these are statistics maybe you can read, more than a third of employees 35 have considered leaving their job because of work-related stress brought on by heavy workloads, tight deadlines, poor working environments, and ill-equipped management. Managers are here part of as well. Okay. Because when you are mentioning about policy, we mentioned about changing our job description. So, but in the first phase of the organization is in the eye of employees, managers. So, equip them well. Okay, I think we can jump down on. These are another example, another news, and work-life balance, a little controversy, because work-life balance is not described well. Every academics are describing that one is really different. So therefore, it's really difficult to grasp. If you see one article is saying work-life balance, you can end up, oh, this is not my work-life balance, because they have totally different perspective and approach. So here is where it gets interesting and controversial. The research on flexible work arrangement is mixed. And I want you to understand why. Recent studies have found flexible working arrangement can actually have negative association with effort. Okay. You know, when your flexible work arrangement increase, if you do more flexible, then you are going to get less effort from people. This is not what we want. Why might this be happen? Is some researchers suggest it is because formal um, formal flexible working arrangements can be seen as a bureaucratic, restrictive. And this is like, yeah, this is bringing us to results, people perceptions changing, okay? But if you don't do this kind of bureaucratic, maybe if you do informal arrangement, then they can, employee can get more positive because instead or top-down rule setting up policy for flexible working arrangement, maybe you can set a flexible working arrangement up to the line managers. Obviously, you need to equip them well. This could be more informal and more welcome by employees. Okay, therefore, their outcome could be translated. Okay. So, but here is another fascinating finding. Sometimes just knowing that flexible work is available, okay, because although you don't have to use it, even you don't have to use it, this is the research and can increase job satisfaction and commitment. This is flexible. This suggests that flexibility is as much about psychological safety as trust as it is about actual work arrangement. Actual work management, this means policies or managerial flexibility. So if employee knows there is a flexibility, so I think that one is more related with my generation because we love we see in our dads and our from our managers, they work hard, they work in the same organization years and years. But my generation, we love to change, we love to experience from different jobs. So literally, my generation people, maybe 80%, maybe 90% of them has got different job experiences from different. So we wanted the flexibility. We want to see different experiences. So this is coming from there, and it's still relevant for new generations as well. However, our new generation, I think you love autonomy. So this is what we were looking after at the time in our generation. Anyway, so okay, let me give you a real example. Unilever, okay, conducted extensive research on flexible work arrangement across different countries because they are big, they are like a country. They found mixed results. While there were benefits like increased employee performance and well-being. As you can see, I can't impose you one of is good, other one is bad, but I can explain you the perspective and which one creating positives, like critical approach, and you can learn which one has got positive, which one is negative, which one has got better side, other one is not good. So this is our part, okay, in our lecture. So there is a complexity is there, and you need to be critical about these issues, not just accepting flexibility is always good, not helpful. Okay. So this is the parts, and what some of journal articles says. I think I didn't jump this slide somehow. So this is a flexible work. If you Google it, you may find 83,000 of full texts. Okay. Now I will come to job performance, so performance management. is about measuring and improving employee output. We want to measure, as earlier mentioned. If there is no measurement, there is no management. If you don't measure the performance, you won't be able to check the employee's performance. Then this is the natural outcome. Okay, performance management is about measuring and learning from that measurement from T1, time 1 to T2, and you are proposing some improvement, okay? The moment, there's one theory is called Goodhart laws. He says, if you put measurement, he says the moment a measurement becomes a target, it stops being a good measure. So this section is around this mentality and managing performance. Let's be more specific at the beginning. It is a kind of strategy, technique. And these are making complex itself, this managing performance concept. So when you are setting a tools to measure, what kind of tools you are going to use? When you are assessing, how you are going to assess, what orientation you are going to do, what monitoring you are going to apply in that. Managing performance is making things complex, but at the end there is one specific things. You need to have a kind of measurement tools. You need to have assessment method, and you need to have some kind of idea about monitoring employee performance. It's about deciding how to measure performance, collecting data, feeding this back to what we call appraisals. So at the end of the appraisal, you can give some reward or penalties, but mainly it is applied in organizations to improve and to create a projection for employees, and it aligns engagement. And HR policies could be related to this one. And organizational culture is related with this one. This is, if you don't set a good organizational culture, it's really difficult to set performance managing. And communication systems, because if you don't communicate with people, how you are going to measure the people's performance? So this is, you need people prepared for the performance management. Okay. CIPT to 2021 see the performance management as a chain for change, past performance, then set objectives, then create a rating and judgment, then give them feedback, then future performance. It's not simple, isn't it? If you imagine you are working in one organization and you are doing this performance management system in with thousands of people as an HR manager, or as a manager, your alone manager 10 people, it is going to take your days and nights to measure. So when planning performance, when planning a performance measurement, typically two different approaches exist, okay? Because you need to standardize something among the organization. Everyone needs to look same things. Otherwise, everyone is going to be, performance management is going to be subjective, okay? Therefore, there are two things, okay? Planning the KPI, key performance indicators, planning more holistically using a balanced approach. Another one, balanced scorecard. First one is KPI, okay? Two things we have seen in practice, okay? And a set of measurable objectives, key performance objectives, link to the business objectives. And this is very simple. And you need to ask these things, okay? A way of assessing individual performance, informs individual appraisals. So these are the points. You need to set measurable objectives. Maybe it is easy for setting objective for salespeople or production line workforces. But it could be difficult for top employees or office workers. And linked to the business objectives. So these KPI are mainly linked to the business objectives because they are coming from there. And these key performance indicators coming from linked business objective and the purpose of the organization, what business trying to achieve is the point. And you need to make sure how you are going to assess the individual performance and how you are going to inform the individual for their appraisals. Are you going to reward them? Are you going to penalty them? Are you going to ask them to involve with the leadership development program or career progressions? So these are the points. Okay. Key performance indicators are these are the example of recruitment managers. Maybe recruit 50 junior employees per year is what could be one of the employee managers or managers KPI. Maybe recruitment strategy, writing a recruitment strategy or recruitment policy could be one of the targets. So these are the targets could be, okay? These are the examples, okay? So, but there is a problem, Goodhart's law. The instant a measure is used as a target, it loses as a value as measure. It loses all value as a measure. What does it mean? Let me give you an example. Call centers with volume targets often see customer service, quality, blunt. Okay. So if you put more call center, if you increase, because this is DNS server, calls are coming and you can assign every minute or you can impose call center staff responding more customers, then it's going to create a decrease in the quality of service for sure. Okay, so this is clear objective, clearly showing the Goodhart's law state. Okay, and for example, when hospitals targeted having MRSA infection, I brought here what does it mean because I didn't know as well. They missed the opportunity to eliminate them entirely. What it means in UK hospitals, when if their targets were introduced for MRSA reduction, infection control improved initially. However, as the system begins to respond to target the reduction, they are not going to look at the root cause effect. You may think NHS is looking after to kill the people, but on the other hand, they are looking after public health. They are looking after the root cause effect as well. So at the surface stage, we always see that one. They heal us, and when it's finished, we are free. But it doesn't work that way. They receive data, thousands of similar things, arguments, and they try to finish this problem from bottom. Okay, like root cause analysis. Okay, so I think these are given good examples. And I can jump to balance approach. So all the previous section is about KPI. Now we come to another one, balance approach. it's somehow, if you mention about performance management in your assignment, I want to hear one of these, okay? Please don't overlook and check. If you are looking after performance management, open the performance management slide and make sure you cited these theories. If you missed that one, I'm going to give you, I have right to tell you, you didn't show what you learned in lecture, how I can give you good grades. Still, you can pass, but I want to see what you learn in the lecture. So this is how we teach, okay? Introduced in 1991 as a means, this is balanced scorecard, as a means to focus on how people work to company goals rather than their behaviors. So balanced scorecards are the most popular one. Is Kaplan and Norton is coming. HR scorecards have also been developed. So as you can see, different approach, different academics are extending our knowledge in the area, and it looks at financial and non-financial aspect of performance. This is the main core argument or core convincing about balance approach, balance scorecard approach. And this is coming from this article. And balance scorecard is, Kaplan and Norton said, the scorecard puts strategy, vision, now not control, at the center of the scoring. Okay, it's established goals, but assumes people will adopt whatever behaviors and take whatever actions are necessary to arrive at those goals. So kind of like the good approach, I can say. Financial, customer level, international business process, learning and growth. And admittedly, it is not particularly nice to look at the beginning because it's covering everything. But organizations have adopted it in a range of ways specific to them. They adjust according to their context. According to context, for example, this is Tesco's score balance card. Steering wheel is a particular clear example. Tesco adopted the balance scorecard, include customer satisfaction. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, customer satisfaction here. Financial performance, operational efficiency, people metrics. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. In the original, it was 4. Okay, they adapted them for their own convenience. It is much more visual appealing now, easier to understand, and yeah. But we always has good but, and we need to always look at the careful things. We should remain skeptical. Recent research from researchers suggests that managers still tend to focus on financial success rather than whole picture. So as you can see, it is very difficult to brought some new things, although this is really old paper, old proposition. In particularly, which industry is happening in rapidly changing industries like hospitality and higher education, and yeah, these are some of the examples. because the higher education is they target it because the private universities are brought this mentality now because they are looking after more financial outcome rather than when you are talking one of the higher education professor, actually they are, because the employees are private anymore, okay, because they need to make money, financial outcome out of from that professor, so they are looking what value they add rather than what they generate for human being. Okay. Anyway, so these are the critical aspect. Who has had appraisal before? This is my question. Unfortunately, we are doing video record and I can't have chance to hear, but in the classroom I'm going to ask you. And a real nice short introduction. I can give you that one. The concept of performance appraisal and requirement for it is the success of implementation. I made a video record for this one, and Adobe is one of the kick they made. They get kicked because Adobe drastically changed their annual appraisal after a survey with 1,500 people, employees within their organization. Managers spent 17 hours on each review, and 6 over 10 stressed by ratings and being compared to peers. 22% cried, 37% looked for another job, and 20% of those cried ones are left. So these are so they change at the end their system. Okay. So performance appraisal can be uncomfortable because if you are okay, what we did is, let me try again. Performance management section. We offer metrics and we offer kind of scorecard, KPI and balance scorecard, and you are going to select that one. Then you need to set who's going to conduct that meetings. Okay, so this bit is that one. And the previous slide is saying managers spend 17 hours interview, so it is a really heavy burden for one manager if they managing 10 15 people in a team. So it is impossible mission for them, and managers feel guilty for hostility and may dislike. So this is, if you are putting managers to put appraisal meeting, performance meeting, you can see that they can try to be more nice because they don't want to be disliked. So maybe I can say managers fear as well. So this is another research. I did this similar research with my student. Managerial fear, why managers are fearing to share their knowledge, why managers are fearing to involve with employee to make decision together. So this is the part. Another part is in performance. People, managers, they don't want to get really bad face, and like because this is natural. Like we evolve that way. It might be an inconvenience when employees managers have tight deadlines. This is another section. Are very busy when they have when and how often do you schedule them? So this is one of the issue we are dealing in our school. For example, I really struggle to put a appraisal meeting with my manager, for example, and because reading, marking, writing chapters and things is coming big heavy burden on us in our lectures. And yeah, so employee become could be more defensive, and that defensiveness is not helpful because we want people stand on their own idea and they want to fight for it. So but here is you're measuring people's like performance. Yeah, So therefore, it's a bit tricky. Okay, it can create uncomfortable environment in the organization. Alternatively, what method you can do in the appraisal is specific goal setting. Okay, you can set because goal setting theory, we mentioned that one. You can set one setting goal. Okay, you are gonna at least you are gonna reply your emails within 2 days maximum. Maybe this is your target for the employee. Maybe you can put maybe numeric targets, maybe customer feedbacks. Okay, so another approach is 360 feedback, like appraisal of you by multiply different people, multiply colleagues is gonna check you. This is sometimes a bit like crazy, could be crazy. I never worked this kind of organization, but it seems someone is checking your performance and has got some cynical because there's power and things going on in the organization. It's a bit integrated, really good, decent, transparent organization to make this kind of feedback system. Anyway, but this is one of the approach. I want to see one of the way which one you are going to do in your performance. Somehow, if you propose intervention in performance, okay, performance management, I want to see metrics in terms of KPI or scorecard. I want to see method who's going to deliver that performance meeting. Are you going to do specific goal settings? Are you going to do 360 feedback, or are you going to do frequent spontaneous conversation, and you are going to sum them up for the feature? And yeah, so these are the things. Now, one of the new thing coming up here is self-appraisal. In some contexts, it is more efficient for employee to review themselves. But how accurate do you think this could be? Okay. Research shows people tend to be either overly critical or overly generous when evaluating themselves. So, as you can see, you need to be really critical. In the title, Performance Appraisal in Project-Based Organization, their outcome is you need to be critical because people more generous, overly generous, or maybe critical on themselves in the project-based organizations. Okay, so you need to look after, you need to think that this may not be relevant for your organization. Still, you need to check, you need to test. Okay, I hope I can deliver it correctly this one, and you understand well. Okay. Some of the the feedback things are given here, and it is given giving information, and force ranking is another one. Is this is coming from this as earlier mentioned, like last week you mentioned, these consultant firms or accounting firms, PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, they do up or out system like trees, or maybe I shouldn't say tree. Like when the winter comes, trees losing their leaves, isn't it? In that sense, they try to left out, or they try to out the lowest rank people. This is a bit crucial. I mean, it's a bit like cruel, isn't it? It's bad for innovation and risk-taking, and what other behaviors might this encourage? So the employees is going to take their position according to this is not helping creating a teamwork, okay, for sure, this approach. But it is helping if you are surviving and you are going to be there all the time. This is good for organization because they are going to keep the best people in their organization. But in the organization, people will not teach or learn or skilled more. Okay. I think I'm just coming to end because this is the one of the last one. I think, yeah, after this one is becoming different perspective. CIPD research, this is a professional organization, and I'm happy to see their citation, their articles in your assignment. We want to see academic as well as, these are practitioners, okay? CIPD is a practitioners research. People's emotional reactions to feedback have more of impact than the feedback itself. Employees need to feel that the method is fair. They also want to have some participation in the appraisal rather than just having a sit back and listen. Focusing on persons' strengths can help to better address weaknesses. This has been called positive psychology. So these are the points you need to take care of in your professional life. And next slide is different perspectives that exist here. Managerial perspective, human needs. This perspective is about human needs control and manipulating to perform better. Organizational theorist perspective, because it is saying humans are irrational, need pragmatic job design. The industrial engineer perspective, humans are like machines that they can be fine-tuned through the incentives. Or the behavioral science perspective, you can say humans are emotional beings who perform better when managers focus on their attitudes and organizational climate. And so these are the different perspectives are here. You can always add this one as a enriching your text. And that's about it. And okay, I think, thank you for your attention. The examples we covered today from Adobe, from Spotify Squad model. Maybe I should include Patagonia because they do flexible work policies as well. We mentioned them about them last 2 weeks ago, I think. These are showing that managing people effectively requires understanding both theory and check the practices. Keep in touch with CIPT research. Keep in touch with reading theorists. Always look after their papers critically. Don't embrace them quickly. Be critical before applying them. Even you like it, you love it, and you believe this is correct, test it if it is correct or not, or it is suitable for your context. And yeah, at the end, it is going to create this approach is going to create adaptable organizations, not static organization, not like a static organization, not like an organization lives in a silo. They need to change, they need to adapt themselves according to the marketing emerging context. Okay, so this is my section. Please don't do this. This is coming to for that for your assignment. I think we can mention them in the classroom. And thank you for your attention during this module. And I will ask you in the classroom, do you have any classroom? Actually, I get your draft and I read, I gave you feedback about them. So tomorrow I will see you. Okay, thank you very much. And today our presentation is done. I hope it was helpful and see you later. Bye-bye.